episode of the Nonsense Podcast. This is your host, Marvin G, together with my wife,
Caroline. You sound so distressed. That was like a week.
It's because, I feel not just physically tired, but emotionally tired today.
Like you
today
sound like
was
you
a
want to cry.
day. No, I'm not going to cry. But today was a day. I have never, no, I shouldn't say never. I had not, while I'm at work, I have never encountered a situation like I encountered today.
Okay, let's let the people know that I came in. It's 9:41, and we hadn't seen each other all day. And I said, so what happened? Because you text me briefly,
Oh, yeah, that's not even half of it.
Okay, which I figured, and I said, okay, so what happened? And I sat down on our bed, and then you said, well, I was thinking, what if we just talk about it on the podcast? So I have no idea what you're about to say.
Right.
Besides the 3 lines of text message that you sent me. So I just want everybody to know that I'm going to be receiving this
for the first time, like everyone else.
Yes.
So, yeah. Costco, right? I love Costco. I really do. I've enjoyed it so much. And, there are challenges that we talked about last time with having to deal with people, right?
Yeah.
And you're a retail business. And here's the thing, all right? Costco is, right off the bat, you're paying to go shop there.
Right.
Right? So
right.
That in itself is unique. So you're either paying $60 or $135 to go and shop there. So that means that, Costco implements rules and policies.
Right.
And you're agreeing that you're going to follow them because you're going to pay to shop at this place.
Right.
So anyhow, I think last time I mentioned a little bit, sometimes you run into a certain type of people. And that's always interesting. And it doesn't usually escalate more than just an eye roll or maybe just whatever, under their breath kind of thing. But today it got bad to the point where I had to write a statement.
What?
And they had to check the security video to see if my story or this person's story who was telling the truth.
Oh my God. Okay, you told me about the cameras,
Yeah.
but okay, so set it up for us.
Okay,
what happened?
so
where were you working?
I've been working the last 3 weeks at the front door or at the exit door.
Okay.
So today,
the receipt guy.
Yeah, the receipt guy, the one that draws smiley faces for your kids.
You gotta learn how to draw better
Okay, before we get into this though, kids, this is what makes it enjoyable because the kids, they know, they're anticipating a drawing on the receipt, and usually it's simple. It's it's just a happy face.
Yeah.
And they get it, and oh my God, their
it
faces
makes their
light
day.
up, right?
Yeah.
And every now and then somebody asks me for a cat, which thank God I've been able to meet that expectation. Somebody asked me for a dinosaur. I didn't know how to draw that.
Oh my
but anyway, so that's what I was doing today. I was checking receipts, signing them off, and then you have to remember that there's an entrance and there's an exit.
Right.
Okay. And in most Costco's, because I've already heard this, not this Costco, not that Costco. Most Costco should follow the guidelines of only allowing people to go in on the entrance and only allowing people to exit on the exit. Yeah. And we talked about this last time because there's a few different factors. People, there's literally a herd of people that are coming out. And if you're trying to weave in and out, it's just not good. We have an additional side door where people can go and they can make the returns and all that. But if you're going to the food court, if you're going wherever, anywhere else, you have to go through the very entrance. Whether you're going to the bathroom, and people are so annoyed. It annoys them so bad.
It does.
It's just this guy had it counted. He's it's only 21 steps further that you have to take. But people are just, they think they're in such a hurry that they can't do it.
Well,
all right.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
It's not. No, I mean, as a worker, I get it because for you guys, it's not that hard. Just go this way.
That's right. The other day you said.
But as a person who has run in there with a child who's about to pee their pants and you have to go through the main door, it is okay. It's an additional 21 steps to get through the entrance, but you do have to go around where the TVs are, around where the granola bars are, and then maneuver your way through the line. So it's
and that's fair.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, but for the most part, if you're going in through the exit door, it's one of two reasons: the membership return line is out the door, and not everyone needs to replace their membership card. They're doing like a return or whatever. So that at that point, we can make two different lines. Okay. But we get to determine if we need that. Okay, so anyhow, so there's this lady, and she's like blowing through the exit door. And I said, ma'am, and like 3 times. And she like, she could care less. So I got up next to her. She had a cart. So she's pushing this cart. I got up next to her, and I said, ma'am. And she's like, you don't tell me what to do. And at that point, I was like, okay. And she got the stuff out of, like, I think she had like her phone and her keychain, and she left the cart there, and she kept walking. So I'm like, what the heck? So I just grabbed the cart. I moved it to the side. I mean, we're today was busy, like crazy busy. So anyhow, I grabbed the cart. I moved it to the side, and then I thought that was that. But
I thought that was that.
Yeah, sorry. I got a little notification here, but no. So I thought that was that. But I called the manager just in case. And thank God I did. So I call a manager, and the manager comes, and she says, like, what happened? I'm like, well, this member, I told her what had happened. She's like, okay, well, she seems fine. She's like laughing it up with so-and-so. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, maybe that's that then. So she left. The manager left. And this lady got her membership fixed or whatever she needed to do, and she walks back out, right? And
so she was walking inside.
So she was walking in through the exit door because she needed to go to the membership counter, which is right next to the exit door. So on the way out, she was going to go back in now to go shopping. Okay. And on her way out, she's like, you feel dumb, don't you, you little beep? And I was like, she's like, yeah. Don't ever put your hands on me. Don't ever put your effing hands on me. And just like literally started going ballistic. World? And I'm like I looked across to my
the other
coworker.
Guy.
Like it's I want to say their names, but I don't want to say their names.
Don't say that.
So I'm like looking at my coworker, and right away, like you could see his face, and he called the manager again because we have like walkie-talkies on both sides. And then this lady, like literally, she like went off on me, and I was like, and the members that were were in line to get out, they were just like shocked. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that just happened," and I'm like trying to like process what happened, and I'm just like, and then I see the manager and someone else go to the other side, and that's it, right? I thought, okay. This lady, is making a scene. She's being loud on purpose. She's being obnoxious. She's trying to make a scene. The moment she said, "Don't ever put your hands on me again," I never touched her. And I started doubting myself. I'm like, oh, what if I touched her? Like, you're not expecting it to escalate that much, right?
Right.
All right. So a few minutes goes by, and then a different manager comes. He's like, hey, what happened? So I kind of told him, he's like, but did you touch her? I'm like, no, I'm almost certain I didn't touch her. Like, and then again, that's when I started doubting myself. He's like, did you get in front of her cart? And I'm like, yeah, I think I did, which I hadn't. And I'll explain later, but I hadn't gotten in front of the cart. But again, I'm doubting myself. So I'm like, yeah, I think I did. He's like, did you grab the cart? No. I'm like, like I felt like I was the one now that was in trouble. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, yeah, I think I did. He's like, yeah, man, don't do that again. Okay. Like we're going to get to the bottom of it, but just don't do that, for many reasons, not just, and I'm like, okay. So then I was just
you're
oh
like, great.
My God. Like I couldn't, like I'm working, but I'm not focused. Like I'm thinking about like what's going to happen. And finally, like maybe 30, 45 minutes later, it seemed like an eternity later, one of the managers that went to go speak to this person came back, and I could tell she was mad. She was upset. And I was like, hey, like, what happened? She's like, I tried talking to her, and then she started F-bombing me. and just going this and that and here and there. She's like, but that's not even the part that gets me mad. There was another manager with her, and he wasn't saying a single thing. Like one of them's a female, the other one's a male. The female manager was the one that was like, like trying to calm the situation down. The other guy wasn't doing anything, and finally she felt like this is too much. Like this lady, the way that she's acting, like it's too much. And she said, hey, like, why don't you take over? And what does this freaking other manager do? He buys her a slice of pizza and a drink to calm the situation down.
What?
So the female manager comes to me and she's like, that's the part that gets me mad, because you want to feel like they got your back, especially when somebody is being the way that this lady's being and the way that she's acting and the things that she's saying. You want somebody to have your back. Like, and hey. I felt like I got abandoned there. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, well, obviously I got upset too. I was like, so basically we just rewarded her for her behavior.
Right, pretty much.
And I thought, okay, well, I guess that's that now, right? Because I didn't see her, and they said, you know what, she might come through the door again. Just ignore her, like, And I'm like, all right. I'm not kidding. Maybe, another 45 minutes or an hour went by, I honestly, I don't even remember. But the point is that she finally came out, and guess whose line she came into to check out? Into mine. But at this point, she didn't say anything. Obviously, I didn't say anything. I just did the count like we normally do. And then I thought, like, I should have wrote a little happy face on the receipt. But I told her, I was like, have a great day. And then she just left. And then I just was still in limbo, because I'm like, okay, so like, what's going to happen? Like, am I going to get talked to? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, when are they going to talk to me?
Are they going to check? Did they check the cameras?
Yes. So, okay. So then, she told me that. Sorry, hold on. What the heck? Oh, okay. No, we're good. So this guy started hearing this like ringing sound, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? But it's the computer. It's fine. Wow. Anyhow,
we're live, everyone.
I don't honestly, I don't even remember how everything played out anymore. Like what happened first, what happened second. But I think the female manager told me that they were going to check the security camera, because what she was saying was something completely different than what I told her. Because she eventually ended up asking me, so what happened? So I told her, and she's like, yeah, that has nothing to do with the story that she's saying. So they're going to have to check the security cameras. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never been involved with something like that, ever.
But then there's also people around, right? It's not like you were there like...
Yeah, exactly. So there were people around, and I think one of the other things is that my coworker was literally just a few feet on the other side of me, and he saw everything that happened too, and he acted quickly, and he's experienced. He's been there for 10 years. Yeah. So he's like, Marvin, when this happens, always look at your watch. What time did the incident take place? Because it's gonna come back. Watch. And sure enough, it did. So anyways, towards it was today I worked 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. It was already like 5:30 because I was getting ready to go on my last break when the manager that told me don't ever grab the card or whatever. He's like, hey Marvin, so like tell me again what happened. And I'm like,
trying to get
and I'm like, oh man. I'm like, okay, she came in. No. Like what happened before that? I'm like that's what happened. Like he's like, she came in, or she was trying to come in and you redirected her. I was like, I did? He's like, yeah, you don't remember that? I'm like, I don't. I'm like, I don't. Like, maybe I did, but because nothing, like, there was no reason for me to remember her. And we redirect people all the time. Like, I didn't remember that. He's like, yeah, you can see that you're trying to redirect her. And then she comes in like full force. And that's when everything happened. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah. So
you probably did. You just redirected her, didn't really notice her, and then until she stormed through.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, so then what happened? I'm like, so I'm telling her, I'm asking her, ma'am. He's like, okay. And that's when you guys stopped. I'm like, yeah. Did she say anything? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you can't tell me what to do. And then he's like, yeah, she abandoned her cart. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I can see where you're on the side of her, and she abandoned her cart and she kept going. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, like that's what happened, but I couldn't remember that. Like even though it had just happened. So yeah, I'm like, he's like, okay, but what did she say? Like you're gonna have to write a statement. And then he got a notepad out, and I was like, oh dang. I'm like for real. He's like, yeah. When did this take place? I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I think it was like 1:30 around it. He's like, yeah, that sounds about right. And he's like, yeah, like the we looked at the security footage, and we're trying to see if there's anything more that we can do. I was like, oh wow. So they were gonna get the loss prevention person involved. Like, yeah.
But what else can they do?
Probably cancel her membership. Yeah, because I mean, that's what I would hope they would do. Honestly, I think
After
that's
they
the
gave her
minimum
pizza.
that you can do. You know. But anyway, so yeah, so he's like, look, like think about it. He's like, did she say like did she cuss at you? I'm like, she did. He's like, no, there's a difference though. He's like, did she say like, oh, like you guys are a bunch of this or this place is, or did she direct? I'm like, oh no, like she was yeah, specific to me. He's like, if you want to write that out in the statement, that's fine. I'm okay with that. He's like, but he's like, you got to make sure that that's what exactly she said.
Don't be doubting.
Yeah, exactly. So I went. He's like, go take your break. He's like, take your break, and then after that, like take your time and write everything down. So I did. I wrote down everything as best as I probably just said it now, and now we'll see what happens. But that was intense. But it doesn't stop there. Like, there was more things. More things.
Oh, okay. Then you said something outside. Were you outside for part of the
Okay, yeah. So usually when I work at the door, like I don't have to go. That's outside. Usually the only place that I work. But because today we were doing inventory, there was an overflow of employees. Okay. So every area was covered to the max except for outside. So, my supervisor was like, hey, man, like, why don't you go outside, push carts for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, I'll go to at that point it was lunch. I'm like, I'll go and then just go to lunch after that. He's like, all right. So I'm like pushing cars. It's like warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. I mean, it's definitely, And then, our building, our parking lot, like it's just small. Like there's no parking, or sometimes it seems like you're going around in circles for a long time.
Forever.
And that's exactly what was happening. Like I saw the whole thing play out. Like there was a car that was waiting for like 2-3 minutes for this other car to load and for them to load up, and then so they could take the spot. So the car backs out, and as the car's backing out to go, another car pulls in right away.
Oh my gosh!
And the car that was waiting starts honking at them, and I'm just like, oh my god, like who does that? Like I thought that was something like just that happens on YouTube, right? I'm like, what?
On YouTube?
What is going? Yeah, or whatever. I'm like, what is going on? So I approached the guy. I'm like, hey man, like there was a car that was waiting, and you can't just cut them off. Like he's like, oh, but you don't know the whole story. I'm like, I don't. He's like, no, like I've been waiting for this spot and I'm like. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I just saw the whole thing play out, and you completely cut this person off. And he's like, no. There's two sides to the story. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Because I didn't, at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I'm out of here.
Whatever, right? So he's like, you could tell that he was uneasy because he must have realized that he was not telling the truth. Because as I'm like taking the cards back to where they go, I saw him and his girlfriend going into the store. And then at some point, he walks back out again, gets in his car, and leaves without her. So, yeah, he must have thought, we were going to do something. Who knows, right? Who knows what he thought. Yeah. So, I'm just like, oh, my God. Like, I'm like, this is a crazy day. And it was. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was crazy busy today. It was hot. Like, I think it's just all of that, right? It makes people weird, right?
It makes people weird.
And then I see a car stop like where the crosswalk is. So you know how we have a loading area that's okay, so for those of you obviously that don't know our store, I'm sure most Costco's probably do the same, I don't know, but there's a designated area where you can bring your car, load it, and whatever. So
in the front. Yeah,
but our store is so small that it only has that one long way for cars to go back and forth. Well, a car decided to put their hazards on right there. And you can see immediately the congestion on both sides of cars having to go around. And again, it's already busy, right? I'm already like, and this is not an excuse because obviously now that I think about it, it wasn't the right way to handle the situation.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, I know. So this lady's like running to the car that was picking her up. And I'm just like, just so you know, next time, park on the loading side because this is the worst place where you can stop. That's it. Like I said it just like that. And she was not rude. She wasn't. She said, "Oh, I know." But when she said, "Oh, I know," I blurted out, "Well, no, you don't know or else you wouldn't be doing it."
Oh boy.
So she finished. I walked away. Sorry. I walked away and then maybe 5 minutes later, this guy approaches me, like tall guy, looks like a really nice guy. And he's like, "A few minutes ago, you talked to my wife in a very inappropriate manner." And I'm like thinking like, "Oh shoot, like who?" I'm like, "I did?" He's like, "Yeah, like we were parked right there," or I pulled up and I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "I know exactly who this is." He's like, "Yeah, like that was not the way to handle this. Like the way that you talked to her was really rude." And I look at the wife and you could tell she was so uncomfortable. She probably told him.
And then he's like, "No."
Yeah, like I need to stand up for my wife, which is fine. Like I actually don't have a problem with that. I applaud him for doing that, in retrospect now, obviously. So I'm like, and my instinct side was like, dude, like, don't park there. Like, I'm like, and he's like, "You told her." I'm like, "No, I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said, yeah, next time park in the loading zone." And her response was, "I know." And when she said, "I know," my response was, "If you knew, you wouldn't be parking here." He's like, "Yeah, but it wasn't her fault. Like, I really didn't know." And I'm like, "Look, man, like, I'm sorry." I'm like, I'm genuinely, I apologize. It's been a weird day. I'm like, and I don't know why. I was like, you know what? Like this lady tried to accuse me of like grabbing her. And I said that. And then you can tell they both like kind of took a step back. He's like, "Man," he's like, "I get it." We just kind of had this moment where it was like, we looked at each other and it was like, "Man, like I'm genuinely sorry." And I feel like he felt like, "Oh, good." Like he felt relieved, I think, that I was acknowledging that I was wrong. And I was. I shouldn't have done that. And because he even said, like, "You know what? Like, there's a way that you talk to customers, but you took it to another step, and that was inappropriate." And I was like, "You're right." I'm like, "You're right. If you want to go talk to a manager, like, that's fine. Like, my name is Marvin. Like, like, you're right." And then that's when I actually said, like, "You know what? Today's just been a crazy day. Like, there's been all sorts of things going on." And I'm like, some lady just tried to accuse me that I was grabbing her, and I'm just kind of like, I think I'm just like on the edge, and I didn't even realize it. He's like, "I get that. I think we've all been there. It's retail." He's like, "All right." And then we shook hands. And then he left. And then after that, I was like, "Man, like, I'm out of here." Like, I was like, I'm done pushing cards. I'm going to go to lunch.
And did anybody else see that little?
They did, but they only saw. Okay, so one of them must have seen the whole thing play out because he was at the door. He's like, "Marvin." And I looked. He's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, we're good." He's like, Okay. So I appreciated that. But then, like, one of my coworkers, Jose, I'll say his name because, but he was like, "Who's that?" No. I told him, I was like, "Hey, bro, like, you're not going to believe what just happened now." He's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Oh," but he only saw the end of it. He's like, "Oh, I thought that was just like somebody that you know." Because, like, I know so many people that work there or that come shopping there that he didn't see the whole thing. But yeah, after that, I was just like, man, like, this has been a crazy day. So I'm like exhausted emotionally. I'm exhausted physically because it was just like I was at the door for a while. I was outside pushing carts. It was warm. And then, like, when I thought I was going to have a little break, putting, like, returns back where they go back. This other coworker, she's like, "Marvin, are you busy?" I'm like, "Well, not really." She's like, "Can you help me load these?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What are we doing?" And there was a couple buying flooring. And they were buying like 40 things of it. So each one is probably like 10 pounds. It's not super heavy, like but when you have 40 of them, and they were an older couple, he had a busted hand. So after I loaded it, I'm like, "Here, let me push it up to the front." And I'm like, "Oh, dang, like this thing is heavy." So I'm like literally like putting my entire body into it to move it. And then after that, I'm like, "Look, let me just take it outside after you guys are rang up, and then we'll find somebody to load it for you guys." So I push it all the way to the checkout. I pushed it all the way outside. Of course, there was nobody there. So I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm going to have to load this." And then I saw another guy. I'm like, hey, dude, come help me. So in between the two of us, and at that point, I was like, man, like I am done. Like I was sweating. Like
of course.
it was just a day. It was just a day. And
oh my god.
Yeah, on top of that, it was just a crazy day. Like there was another like a couple that had just left, and I saw a manager running out. He's like, hey, like, he's like, did something happen? And then I saw like the GM and two other managers. Like it was, I don't even know what happened there, but it was just a crazy day. That's it. I'm done. I'm done venting.
Wow.
I know.
That was way more than your text message.
Oh, well, yeah. Can you imagine? Like I wouldn't be able to put that into a text message. Like there's no way.
I am so interested in what, like, okay, after your statement for the first incident or whatever, like, what's that going to turn into if it turns into anything?
Well, I think that because of the way that this person was acting, like we're just going to take her membership away. And I think or tell her, like, you just can't come to the store. I don't know.
Yeah, because, I mean, I guess my thing is, okay, she said when you said, ma'am, and then, she abandoned her cart. Why come back and say you feel dumb?
I think because
like
she just felt that satisfaction that, you can't tell me what to do. I still did what I needed to do, and I'm going to go shopping now. Like, that's the way I took it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just an issue with authority, honestly. And I think, like, as I kept talking about this with people, like, I told one of the managers, he's like, hey, man, I heard you had one heck of a day or incident, he said. I'm like, I did, but the more I think about it, like, the more it's sad. I'm like, it's so sad that somebody has all this anger and just all this resentment, like, in them, that's how they respond to a simple, like,
request.
Yeah. And he's like, that's what I thought too. He's like, but that's good. He's like, I'm glad that it hasn't affected you. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, it did. But like, the more I've been reflecting on it, okay, like now I feel good. I'm fine.
That's the thing with you. I feel like a normal person would like think about it, but you like overthink it.
Oh yeah. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Like analyze and then reanalyze to the point where you like are doubting yourself.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Man, I can't believe it.
You know what's even crazier is like, I feel like this manager, the one that initially got involved, like I had told you, like, I don't know about this manager. Like, I feel like she just doesn't like me. Like, it just seemed like she always had like a frown on her face when it was with me. And just, I don't know, like, it just seemed like we butted heads. And I don't know what came to change that. But now, like, she's a completely different person with me. And I actually, I mean, now that I really think about it, I feel like it was when, I applied for that full-time position. And her and another manager had to tell me that I wasn't going to get the position. And I feel like after that time, like she just kind of changed. And she's been very friendly, very like, just checking in on me. And I'm like, oh, and then it's so crazy. But this is honestly what I felt. So that was what I initially thought. But now I feel like it's this. Like, now that I'm there, right? Like, I don't know how, but I started getting a Facebook request from a coworker. So I accepted it, and then I got another request from another coworker. And I'm like, like, I don't want to go down that hole. But then I'm like, well, let me see who she's following. So I started going through her Facebook, and I saw the manager, and it says believer. And I was like, oh, because when she was like, why can't you change your days?
Yeah.
I said, I'm like, there's just a lot of things that I'm involved with in church that I just don't want to jeopardize, or I don't want to move because they take priority. And now that I saw that, I was like, maybe that's what changed.
Maybe.
Now that she's like, he's a fellow believer.
I can't be
a little witch to
Wow.
And she, like, another thing is, I saw that she has kids. She's married. She has kids. And I think one of her kids might have autism because she's like was celebrating Autism Awareness Month or whatever. Is that how you say it? Celebrating? I don't think it's celebrating, but bring it to light or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was like, oh man, like, actually we have more in common than what we thought. Yeah. Here we are like bumping heads with each other, not realizing that we're on the same team.
Dang.
I know.
Doesn't that happen all the time?
Yeah, it happens often.
You know who's been bringing a lot of light to IG?
Who?
Well, I know her by Carla, but that's not her IG name. Sorry, I'm quickly looking. I think it's Denisa Solis. I don't think she's going to hear this. Maybe she will, but she's just been talking and throwing all these truth bombs about like unity.
Who is this person though? Like, where do I know her?
Yeah, I mean, it's if I show you a picture, you're going to be like, oh, but she's a PK.
Oh, okay.
And I think the church is Iglesia Nueva Vida.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but she's been, I think we met when we were both kids. And anyway, there's a lot of history there, but she's just been like preaching about unity and how hard it is to be united as Christians. Mm-hmm. And she was saying, and I heard it quickly because like I feel like she doesn't post as much, but then when she does, it's like this, like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So she came on and she was like, there's this talking about how like there's a potential meeting in a few years where they want to do like a one world religion.
Right.
And okay, so she's like, you know what's going to happen is that they're going to call like 25 like believers into this room. And no se van a poner de acuerdo because Christianity is like so broad.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're going to say like, okay, you guys can't even decide. So we're going to ban that. And then she said something. She's like, prayer can prevent this, but are we united enough to pray for it? And I feel like, yeah, I've been thinking about that all week because, because it's true. Like we're such a huge body, yet things like this happen. Like even what you're saying about the manager, like, I mean, yeah, thankfully she changed and, whatever, like now she's nice and all that stuff. But, so many times it's like, no, I'm this way, you're that way, even though we're in the same body. We gotta put up that wall. We gotta keep the fight. And it sucks because it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
Anyway.
Nobody's willing to budge.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, everybody wants to just hold their position. And actually what you're saying reminds me of a TikTok I was watching yesterday because there's this guy, they're auditors. They stand on a corner and they're just recording. Yeah. Just to see how people are going to react. Well, he just happened to be at an LGBTQ thing that they were doing. And the argument was what is funny because the person on the left-hand side is saying, like, you don't belong here. Like, you need to go and you need to listen to me. Right. But then when the guy's like, wait, like, but you're not listening to what I'm telling you when I'm telling you to just leave me alone. Well, I don't have to listen to you. And and I feel like that's exactly what's happening in the church too. Like everybody was so big on being their own person, being independent and just being, that I think we've allowed our egos, I guess you could say.
But here's this. Why is it mostly with Hispanics? Yeah. Because you don't see I don't think so, but you don't see like white people doing this.
I think it might just be our culture, like because
is it because everything turns into like a competition? Like
I think everything turns into a competition, but I also believe that we were raised to not let people walk all over you. Like instead of like what Jesus said, like if they slap you on the right, turn the other cheek. Like no, like we've been brought up to like no, te tienes que defender. Like you have to stand up for yourself. Like and then look at everything that's happening right now with the Hispanic voice. Like they feel like we feel. No, I feel like what they're saying is, hey, like we haven't been heard. we've, they've tried to silence her voice. So now, bam, here you go. Yeah. So that's what I think. I think the black culture also feels that way, because if you think about it, like they went through slavery, they went through, if it wasn't for MLK, like so and it's crazy that those two actually are probably very similar, like Hispanic and black. I feel like they're very similar in the way that they think and the way that they act, and
because I feel like one thing is okay. What you're saying, like, don't let people walk all over you. But the other thing is, man, I guess it goes hand in hand. Is like holding grudges. Yeah. Because like there's people that will leave church, and 20 years later still like are holding a grudge over that church, over that pastor, over that person, and it sucks because like so much. I mean, you're the one that's affected is you, right? Because you're holding that grudge. But I feel like Hispanics, like, we magnify that a lot more.
You know what's funny is that working at Costco, I've seen so many people, and right now what you're talking about, I think I mentioned to you the families in specifically who I saw recently, where I saw them and it was genuine, like, oh my God, like, how are you?
Hey, what's
and I
up?
can tell, like, at first they're like, it was that moment where like, oh my God, do I react? Do I not react? Do I pretend like I don't know him? Like,
you, though.
Yeah, and I'm like literally right there at the door because they're coming in, and I hugged her, and she, oh, hola, like, how are you? And I was like, hey, like, so how's your husband? How are the kids? And then I felt like something just like, well, they're doing well. Yeah, I seen your girls, they're so big, and I'm like, yeah, like. Yeah. And then later I saw the husband, and same thing. Like I'm like, hey man, like, good to see you. But it's that what you're talking about. Like, I feel that there was still some kind of a grudge or whatever. But thank God, maybe after this, like, it's broken now. It's like, come on, like, I'm genuinely just happy to see you.
Yeah, and yeah. And I know a lot of people, it's like church hurt, but it's people hurt.
Yeah.
It's people hurt. And I'm not saying it's not easy. I'm not saying that. No, what am I saying? What am I trying to say? I'm not saying that it's easier said than done. Yeah. Because like just within, my cousin realm, we got together 2 weeks ago. Yeah. There's like 4 different churches represented in one house at that time.
Yeah, imagine. That's crazy.
And that's a lot of work. Yeah. Like, everybody at one point, this and that, whatever happened. And was it all butterflies and rainbows right away? No. But I feel like, at least within us, we're in a good place. I mean, obviously that's just me, right? I don't know what they think, but I want to believe that it's like, we're first of all, like, like, we're doing it for the kids. I think that's the I know when we get together, it's fun to kind of reconnect as cousins, but we see the kids and they,
Sorry, that thumping is our dog scratching herself. Lucy.
She's like, oh, sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys, you're recording something? Yeah, no. Anyway. And I think, like, once we realize that church is a hospital and we're going there because we all
But we know that.
But do we? Because that's the thing. Like, our ego makes us think that we're fine. Oh, no.
Hey, why are you yelling at me?
Huh?
Why are you yelling at me?
No, I'm not yelling. It's just, I start thinking about it, and it's like, no, like, if we knew, then we wouldn't be acting the way that we act.
I think, the reason I say we know that is because that has been said since, as far as I can remember, right? Like, yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway, be united.
Yeah, be united.
Be united.
I think the last thing I wanted to touch on was the last podcast that we talked about. We kind of were talking about, immigration and just, I feel like I have a different perspective maybe that I don't think I purposely ignored. I just felt like I hadn't heard the other side, So we have our men's gathering, right? And we were talking about, how some of these men that gather they're not legal here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think hearing
they don't have documentation.
Huh?
They don't have a documentation.
They don't have documentation. But one person in particular, he was like, he's like, I'm not worried if they sent me back to my country, like with my wife, whatever. But the part that worries me is like, what's going to happen to my son in the moment of transition? Like, let's say they stop me. Let's say they stop me and my wife together. What's going to happen to my son? Like, who's going to be there to like vouch for him, speak for him, whatever. And this kid is maybe 3, 4 years old.
3, I think.
Yeah, 3. And then I'm just like, man, like that hit me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about that side of reality.
Right.
And even though it's the right thing, the wrong thing, whatever, right? But just that, I think I was humanized again in the sense that like I was able to relate. And obviously I thought about my daughters, and then, like, yeah, your dad's like, well, if you need to write us down, he's like, well, and that touched my heart even more because like, it's one thing for your parents to, obviously we know they're going to take care of our kids if something, God forbid, would happen to us. But for him to say that with such conviction about somebody else's kid, and for that, you could see like that was touched.
Like relief.
And I was just like, oh my God, like it just did something to me. And then hearing, one of the other guys talk about, how him and his wife are both also illegally here, and they have 2 kids, and they're in their teens now, but their worry is like, what if what would happen to our kids? So hearing that side of things definitely like changed my perspective. Like, how do I say, like, I don't think I've ever said, and if I did, I guess I'm changing my position, but I don't think I've ever said that I agree with the way that they're doing things. Because I don't. Like, obviously, I don't want our people to be affected. Like, when I say our people, I'm talking about my people in church, my friends,
right.
Like, I don't want them to be affected by this. But to see that they wake up worried about the situation,
of course,
it's like, dang, like,
because we don't think about that.
Exactly. And that's what I said. I opened up. I'm like, look, like, I thank God that I've never woken up afraid of what if. Never. Yeah. And
I think we both agree that the way that, the authorities are doing these ICE raids is not the best way. I it's not, I mean, it's so easy to go on a power trip too, like, so, and that part sucks.
And again, it's the egos. Like, on the one hand, it's freaking Trump with his ego that, like, no, like, make America great again. And okay, like, I mean, I'm good. Like, I want that. But like, on the other hand now, it's like, like, I don't want it to come at the cost of the people that we care about to hurt, But I mean, at the end of the day, like, your dad was saying, like, we're governed by a different law, and ultimately God is the one that's in control of our life, our destiny, and he's going to protect us. He's going to protect us. He's going to, the angels are around us. And I feel like that really did bring a lot of peace in that room. And then, okay, so that's that, I have my own men's group.
Yeah.
And then we started talking with some of the guys that are also here. I'm like, guys, like, I want to understand. Like, I've been so intrigued. I'm like, I want to understand, like, like, what was your process? And I don't want to go in, we've already gone way too long today. But what I came to the conclusion, and I shared this with them, I'm like, man, like, you guys were willing to risk your life
literally
to come here because you wanted a better life. What must your life be in that country that you're like that you don't want to go back to?
Right.
And that also was impactful. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I think we have to talk about one last thing, actually, now that I think about it. Remember last time we said that we're going to talk about a fire that happened?
Oh, my gosh.
It's because right now that we're talking about the angels and protection, like that came into my mind again.
So intense.
So, babe, go. This is your story because you're the one that, like,
so bad.
Oh, my God. And we're going to close with this, I promise.
It was like 2 weeks ago now, I think.
No.
Yeah.
2? Okay, whatever.
2-3 weeks ago. I'm like dead asleep. It's a Sunday night. I'm like dead asleep.
We're both asleep.
Yeah. It's like 12:34, and my mom calls me. Usually she blows me up through text message and Instagram messages. Like I wake up to like 12 in the morning, just like 12 of them, whatever, right?
Same.
But this time she called me, which she never does. Like she never has.
Yeah.
So I answer and I'm like, hello, literally like, hello. And I hear her say, sweetie, there's a fire at the house. At the house. And I was like, I shot up. And what did I do? I was like, I'm on my way. And I remember I like hit your foot and I was like, babe, there's a fire at my parents' house. I don't think.
Stop right there. Okay. So I'm deep asleep too. And I'm rudely awakened by you saying, babe, there's a fire at the house.
At my parents' house, yeah.
At my parents' house. So my thought was like, oh my God, like the house that they live in is on fire. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what the, God knows, I'm thinking, what the heck were they doing at this time that caused a fire in the house? So I started thinking, like, did they have like
candles?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Or yeah, okay. So I literally like, babe. So we get up, no shoes, no glasses, nothing. Like talk about not being prepared. I didn't even think about like, oh, let me find my shoes or put a sweater on.
I just wanted to get there.
Nothing. It's 12:30 in the morning. We like stomp out of our room into the garage.
And thank God my mom was still here.
Your mom was still here. I mean, I think we would have left anyway.
Yeah, without the
I mean, Eliana was asleep, so that's there. So we're in the car, and then Annie's still awake, and she's like, "Where are you guys going?" And because like we didn't leave from our room like quietly. No, we're like, don't, like it was
like
bad.
An emergency.
Like an emergency. Yeah. So we get in the car. We live like half a mile away from my parents' house. It's like a solid like 2.5 minutes. So as we're driving, there's a light where we have to turn like once we get out of our neighborhood to go into their neighborhood. And when we turn left and head to that light, oh my gosh. I think panic literally came over my body.
It's because so when you're going down the street towards your parents' house, you can see the sky, or not the skyline, but the houses, right?
Yeah,
you can see the different houses that are on that street.
Right.
And they live just
right there.
Like, right there, but behind that. Yeah. So all you see is a silhouette of all the flames.
Yes.
And we're just like, oh my God, like the house is literally on fire.
Like in the movies, like the flames were like high in the sky.
Yeah.
Orange, red, flames, smoke. So all I remember is you telling me, babe, like calm down. Like I remember you trying to calm me down. Because I literally felt my body just go numb. And I was like, in my head, I knew my parents were okay because my mom called me. So I knew she was okay. Yeah. But I'm thinking the house is gone. What the heck? What the heck did they pull out of the house? Like they have so much, So literally in flames. So we pull up. We parked super far from the house, by the way. Like no sense of like direction.
And again, like it seems eternal.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of maybe 5-10 minutes, but it seemed like 30-45 minutes.
So we get out of the car barefoot and everything, and we go find my parents. My mom's like nicely dressed, by the way, with like a button down.
She looked like she came back from a photo shoot.
And I'm like, wait, what did I miss here? She's wearing jeans, and then my dad is like carrying around his dog, and I'm like. So we get to the house and we look up and the backyard was on fire. Now, thank God that their house was untouched, but it was going fast. So they still don't know what the source.
Oh, they don't?
No, they haven't told me. But the last I heard, they didn't know the source of it. But basically, there was like a fence and a line of trees. One by one just went down. So my parents were asleep. They smelled smoke, ignored it.
No, but remember your mom said that it sounded like it was raining?
Yeah, but first they smelled smoke and they're like, what is that? They go outside. There was nothing there yet. Within minutes, the trees start just one by one. And here's the thing, like literally one tree left and my parents' tree would have caught completely on fire.
Which
it started to.
Yeah, you can see some of the leaves that were hanging over on that property on the neighbor's side where it was black.
Yeah, no, it was crisp. So here's the thing, like if that tree would have engulfed that would have fallen on the house, and that
it would have fallen on the house. That whole fence would have caught fire, and then
after that. So my parents, like again, like sheer panic. They ran outside. They were like, "Fire, fire!" I think my mom says, because I'm like, "Why did you go wake up people?" Like and she's like, "We were just watching the tree and the fence fall so fast that they thought that it's going to catch here and then it's going to keep going." And they didn't realize that the firefighters were on the other side.
Because we kept saying, "Where are the firefighters?"
They were waiting for the firefighters to show up on their street, but it actually showed up on the opposite street. So that's why she was like, they were like trying to wake up everybody around them.
Hey, but I'd rather let's say our neighbor is pounding on our door. Hey, fire! Like I would appreciate that extra.
Oh well, yeah.
And I'd be like, man, but it seems like in these days, like,
well, nobody came out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like they're surrounded by houses. I think 2 neighbors came out, the Chinita La Par and then the other Asian guy in front. But besides that, like everybody was like, not my problem. Good night.
Well, the neighbors on the side too, they had already left.
Because my mom woke them up. Yeah. Anyway, the ones whose backyard was on fire. She didn't even notice. Yeah. But anyway, so it made us think, are we prepared in case of emergency? No. I don't think we are.
I think the funniest thing of the whole story is like your dad when he's telling us like about Chester, that Chester's just like sitting on the couch. He was just
sitting there like, what do I do?
Like, what do I do? What do I do? And then your dad just grabbed him and then they booked it out of the house. Like, it's so funny because you need to know this dog to understand how funny this is, to imagine him on the couch just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
But thank God everything was good.
Thank God.
Not even their house was ruined. I mean, well, it was damaged, but it wasn't ruined.
The siding, imagine those people in the house watching those flames, like burn their siding. Yeah, their siding was melted, their shed melted, and then the fence was burned and the trees. Yeah. So you look in the backyard, it's like completely like burnt trees. It's kind of crazy, but it was a little traumatizing. Just that, it was
very traumatizing. I couldn't go to sleep that night.
We got back we were back in bed by like 2 a.m.
Like the devil is a liar because like that little incident was enough for me to start feeling fear, and I couldn't go to sleep because I kept thinking like, man, what if something happens here? Like, like I kept thinking like just thinking of everything in our house and like it was just I'm glad it only lasted a day.
You know how many times I've left the curling iron on? Oh my God. I think about those things all the time, and that night I was like, dang, like, but it did put things into perspective as far as like what is important in the moment. I think like my mom thought about like so many memories, and my dad's like, get the passports.
Exactly.
Get the passports. And there's just so much history in that house. Yeah. Not just
like we lived there.
Not just that, but like my dad has so much church stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Just like from 25 years ago, like everything is in that house.
Like he would have told the firefighters, please go into my office.
Save my desk. Bring everything in the closet down. No, yeah. For real. And the amount of paper that is in that office.
Oh my God.
Like that.
It would have ignited.
That would have definitely caught fire. But thankfully everything's fine. And we're fine and everything's fine. But that was a fire story.
That's the fire story. Man, let's pray for one another. Let's be humble.
Stay united.
Let's stay united. And if you need to call somebody and do things right, then do it, but make sure that, how do I say it? Like,
what are you going to say?
No, like just that, like if the Holy Spirit puts in your heart, to make amends with someone, like do it. Because the Bible just says, like, in everything that you can, be at peace with everyone.
Right.
So there's some things that you can't control, and it's like, all right, well, whatever. But be at peace about it, you know?
Right.
And be nice. Like, you know, let's be nice to one another, man, regardless of whether or not they're part of the body of Christ. Like, let's just be nice to one another, and let's stand up for what's right too, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Don't buy them a pizza and a
By the way, yesterday, I didn't tell you this, but because we haven't talked about
I have another breaking news.
24 hours, but yesterday was my first shift at the theater with the girls.
Oh, yeah.
And I got this kid in trouble. First shift. They had to call her parents. Well, here's the thing. I knew they were having a very inappropriate conversation. No, you know, we're in a theater where they're very strict.
Yeah.
And
which is good. That's why we like it.
Yeah. And one of the little kids ended up going to the bathroom like a solid 8 minutes. And I saw this girl like pacing, waiting for him. So I got up and I was like, what were you guys talking about? And she's like, well.
How old are they?
Like 12.
Oh, my God.
11, 12. No, like 12. And she's like, well, I just told him something that happened, and like it's really serious. So I'm like, but at that moment she got called into a room to get you know, whatever. So it got disrupted and whatever. The kid comes out and he needed like a minute. Like they were like, she kept talking to him like, I'm so sorry. So I told one of like the, you know, authorities, you can say, I'm like, I don't know about this conversation here. Like, it's not sitting good with me. And so she stands next to them and she's like, and she's giving me this face like, what in the world? But I wasn't close enough to hear. So then she got called. She sends like the main director to talk to me. And I'm just like, I was just like, she's like, they say you need to talk to me. Something's going on with some of the kids. And I'm like, oh, dang. So I tell her, I'm like, well, this isn't sitting good. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. So she goes and checks in with them. Well, all I see is that parents are being called. This girl at the end of the night is sitting like by like the director desk, bawling her eyes out after like 20 minutes of talking to and like you and it's like they're far and I'm just watching like the hand motions and she's crying and I'm just like,
so what happened?
It's not appropriate to talk about.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
So were they both in trouble?
The girl was, because to the point where like whatever it is that she told this little boy, they had to tell his parents, hey, like he heard about this here.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
If he hadn't heard it before or whatever, like this is where he heard it.
Maybe. So she told him Santa Claus wasn't real.
Something like that. But worse, I think, obviously. And then they had to tell her parents that, you know, like whatever. So first shift.
That's crazy.
First
all right,
shift.
last thing. This time for real.
What are you going to talk about?
Okay.
Concert.
Costco. One last time.
Costco.
I had been hearing that Costco was going to transition from Pepsi to Coke. And then I started watching on TikTok how certain Costco's were no longer serving. They were still giving like the soft drinks, the soda, but not in the Pepsi cup anymore. It was just a paper cup. And today at our Costco, guess what they were serving drinks in? A paper cup with nothing on it.
So
they're transitioning. You know what the best part is?
About damn time.
Here you guys are probably thinking like finally he came to, you know, see the light. But Trump said that he got Coca-Cola to use real sugar now, cane sugar, instead of, you know, all this fake stuff that they're using. And that's why the Mexican Cokes are so good.
Yeah, they're so good.
So now, so there's one good thing that Trump did.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Make America great.
Make America great. But in a biblical way. All right, guys, we're out of here, man. It's late.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.